Welcome to Operation You. Can everyone see the screen? Give me a thumbs up. I'm also working on my new advanced technology so I could see everyone here in the screens while I'm sharing my screen. So it's getting better every time. And okay, welcome. Hey, why did you guys decide to spend your morning slash afternoon slash for some of you evening with us? It's about just taking the time to slow down, taking the time to feel what has been draining your energy and just stop carrying what doesn't belong to anymore. And my goal is by the end of today, you're going to have a clearer sense of where your energy's been leaking. You're going to give yourself permission to just pause and to put something down. I'm hoping that you feel some emotional relief and renewed energy. And once again, at the end, I hope that you're feeling, I'm already feeling a little bit different today. That's my goal for why you are here today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rosanne Callens. I'm a life and success coach, and I help empower all of our high achievers to break through the overwhelm. And I want everyone to feel like they can design a life they love. And that's why I call it Operation You, to take the time to take care of you, because so often I'm helping people who spend all of their time helping everyone else. And if this feels familiar to you, definitely give me some spirit fingers here. Just like wave your hands. Yes, if that feels like you, with you're always helping everyone else. Many of you hold yourself to incredibly high standards. And you also, I want to know if you feel that you're often harder on yourself than anyone else has ever been. And maybe you replay conversations and you second guess your decisions and you notice what you should have done differently. In fact, one year, every time I said should, I caught myself. That was my thing for the year, because I was always shoulding myself, is what I call it, which if you say that fast sounds like a bad word, but it was really SHOULD, shoulding myself. But here's the thing. Even when you're resting, your mind isn't. And if that's you, I'm going to change it up and say, put a 1 in the chat. Even if you're resting, your mind isn't. Is that you? I see a lot of 1s. For me, I have to often go to my mom's house to watch a movie, because even in my own house, I have a hard time just sitting there and watching a movie, because I feel like there are so many things I could be doing. And so I wanted to say that, so your body is on the couch, but your brain is still working, planning, worrying, anticipating, creating. And so right now, if you check in with your body, is your energy feeling more tight or more tired? I think those are two different energies. So if you want to write tight or tired in the chat, or you can give me another word if you want. I see some tireds. Yes, I feel you. Tired, weary. It's a good word, Portia. Tired, yes. I think after the holidays too, we can all say that we're pretty tired, for sure. Oftentimes, I also hold my shoulders up. And so I would say tight as well for me. I hold my shoulders. I don't have a name for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if any part of you is nodding, saying, yes, that's me, I want you to hear this clearly. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with you. We're amazing. We are amazing people, right? I just want you to think about how many times we've said, I know I'm going to rest when I get through this next thing. Has that happened? I'm going to rest after this, or I'm going to rest after this, or if that's been you, please say yes. Oh, I see. Helena says, yep. Believe me, you guys, this did not come from weakness. It comes from feeling like you have to be the glue, right? Feeling like you have to be the glue. But today and over the next few days, I want to practice something different. And that's why I want to let you off the hook. Yes, yes, you. And so that's where Operation You came into play. I put a new little video monitor, everyone. So I'm just getting used to using it myself. And so I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to always work on me. And I love working with people who that's a promise that they want to make to themselves, is to realize that, hey, this is time where I need to take care of me. And for me personally, I realized that the most important relationship is with myself. But the challenge was for many, many years, I really felt guilty about that. I felt I felt bad saying that. I felt like I should be saying other things, and that if I was prioritizing taking care of myself, that I wasn't going to be, this wonderful human for everyone else. But that's not true. Everything actually changed when I took care of myself. Or if any of us has been in an airplane, what do they say? Put our own oxygen masks on first before we help other people. It's such a great analogy. How many times have we heard it and we say, yeah, 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 but it's true. So this is my mission, is to help you do the same. And I just see so many women treat rest like a reward that they haven't earned yet. Once again, myself included. One client finally paused instead of pushing, pushing, pushing. And she just felt that clarity just came to her, and that rest it didn't derail her progress. She was really concerned, if I rest, that it's going to derail all these other important things I have to do. But in all actuality, it helped her increase her productivity tenfold. So this is important for you, to take care of you. And I'm so honored that you're here with me today. And that's what Operation You is all about. So I'm so excited. And I really love seeing a big screen with my big face on it. But this is one of my kids' favorite pictures of me smiling. So I always use it to make me think of my children and their help with their mother and her Operation You moment. Okay, so just a little housekeeping. I see that you guys are pretty good at this chat box. Okay, there's also a raise hand feature that you could see. Okay, so day one is reset. You can't hear yourself when you're constantly responding to everything else, right? Man, I want to just say that again. You can't hear yourself when you're constantly responding to everything else. And I want to share a story about, thanks, Denise. I appreciate your energy too. I once worked with a woman who was convinced that she needed just this massive life overhaul. Okay. She was exhausted and she was frustrated and she thought something was wrong with her. But when we just slowed down in the very first session, she realized that she just hadn't given herself space to actually feel what was happening in years. And actually, what helped give her that space, it wasn't just me. I would love to take all the credit for it. But what gave her space was her kids were gone for the summer. And she really hadn't had the time to be just without that constant, where am I going? Where am I driving? What am I doing? And she just finally had some time to feel. And all of a sudden, she felt like she was falling apart. And so giving yourself the honor of the time that you so freely give to others is truly a gift in itself, everyone. And so nothing dramatic changed that day, but her awareness helped shift everything. And that's what I'm hoping these 2 hours give to you. I hope they help just give you just a little bit of time to think. And I promise you, in the following 2 days, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to do a lot of the doing pieces as well, because I know you guys are all very big action takers and you want to create these things. But in order to create these things, we have to settle in and have some clear time to think. Oh, I love this one. How often do we really listen to our body's needs? How often do, I had a client said, that was like, on paper, this is a great opportunity, so I should be happy. But then every time she talked about it, notice she even said should. And I already talked to you guys about the word should, right? She said, I should be happy, but her shoulders were tightened, her breath, like when she was talking to me about it, she did not look happy at all. Like I'm looking at her and I said, you don't really seem very happy about this. But she kept saying, oh, her voice even got high and tight. And if she started listening to her body, she would have given herself time to ask, more questions about this opportunity, right? And so I want to say, and this is in our workbook, how am I arriving today? So where are you right now? How am I arriving today? And that's in the very first part of our workbook here. How am I arriving today? And what does my body need right now to feel supported? Now, I'm going to give you an example. For me, I just need to simply breathe. As you may have noticed in our first couple minutes together, I was so excited. I'm golden retriever energy. I can't help myself. Okay. For me, it's just simply, hey, Rosanne, take a breath. What does my body need to feel supported? And so I want to go into what has been taking my energy. Now, I put this picture of the battery because this is a reminder for me to share with you. How many times, we're going to put a 1 in the chat box, have we looked all over the house for a cord to plug our phone in to recharge? Who has done that before? At least one time where you've been like, I've got to get the cord. I've got to get the cord. I want to see a 1 in the chat if that has happened to you, where you've been really looking for that charger cord. Absolutely. We're so good about doing that for our phone, and our phone even gives us that warning. My children get it a lot more than I tend to, but it's like, warning, low battery, 20%, right? And so what happens with us when we're not recognizing it in ourselves to say, oh no, I need to take a moment to recharge, right? And so what is taking your energy and having your battery drain a little bit faster? And I put in the workbook, I gave you some ideas and I put them up here on the slide, to keep me focused with you guys as well, because I could talk about this literally for a million hours. What's been draining your energy? Check all that apply. I know some of you might actually circle all of them. That's okay. And so now I want to just talk about these words right here. Feel it to free it. Feel it to free it. It is so important. People are rushing decisions because just sitting with the unknown feels uncomfortable for them. But every time that you can give yourself space instead of pressure, the next step becomes clear without forcing it, right? So anytime that you can create that space for yourself and allow yourself time to feel, I think we would all agree that if we just checked in with our feelings, we know what the right answer is, right? We know what we need to do, and we know what our body wants us to do. And maybe there's even been a time in your life where mentally you thought you wanted something, but your body was telling you something completely different. And you weren't listening to your body. So your body is like, okay, well, I'm going to now one up you and get you sick. So then that way you have to stay home. And then maybe you just keep talking on the phone and you keep going. And then your body's like, okay, I'm going to now double down and I'm going to make you have laryngitis. So now you can't talk. I don't know if that's happened to anyone before. If it has, maybe let's put my favorite number right now, 1, in the chat box. If that's happened to you where you knew something was kind of wrong, but you're like powering through, and next thing you know, your body's like, nope, shut down. Maybe for Dr. Milton McIntyre, it was that she had to write a whole bunch of stuff, and then all of a sudden she got carpal tunnel. Boom. You got to get the wrist thing out, right? Now you can't type as much. Then you're like, oh, that's okay. I'm going to do talk to text. And then, like I said, what happens? Sore throat. Okay. So yeah, so I want to give us some time to feel it, to free it. And that leads me right into our next amazing speaker, releasing and resetting and honoring 2025, because I am all about moving forward. Oh, I just saw, I went on a business trip with a full body rash. That, Helena, I've been there too, girl. I have. I'm sure we have some really crazy body stories that we could tell. But thank you. We're gonna share at the end with this because this is too much. Releasing and resetting, honoring 2025. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Portia, who is a holistic coach, a licensed massage therapist. Don't we all wish we were in person right now? Portia is a licensed massage therapist and a Reiki practitioner. Hello. Who supports women through periods of transition, burnout, and identity shifts. Portia blends coaching and body-based practices to help women regulate stress, reconnect with themselves, and move forward with clarity and intention. And I'm so honored to also call her an amazing friend of mine that I met while I was in a conference in Germany. And so I was so honored by everything that she shared, and she has taught me as much as she will tell you that I have taught her, because I know she's one of my biggest fans too. And we all need our success team, and Portia is on it. So Portia, I'm gonna let you take it away, and you could just tell
Oh,
me next slide and I'll go.
I love that you dropped that in there. I have a few things. So I'm gonna start with I have a few things to screen share throughout the process, and I've keep them up on my computer. And I realize this is my fail. I am so used to using Google Meet and not Zoom these days that I know how to share. But if it all goes a bit wonky, then just please bear with me. So I love that Rosanne said we need to feel it, because so often we tell ourselves stories and our body doesn't discern between fact or fiction. So the feelings that we have, our body is quite happy to turn those into fact and injure ourselves, make us susceptible to illness. So the phrase the body keeps the score, we might have forgotten the things from years ago, but our body has been storing those layer upon layer upon layer. And what I really want to help you do today is just be more aware of that. So I'm going to dive right in by asking you to take a look at this picture. Does any of it look familiar? How do you feel when you look at it? Do you recognize yourself in this picture? So when I look at this picture, I see a perfectly poised woman sitting still, holding everything together, while around her, it's all in flames. From the outside, she looks pretty impressive, graceful even, but inside, and we all know this one, there's risk. Those aren't soft, fluffy things that she's juggling. They're glass, they're flaming, they're fragile. And we all know that if you hold on to a flaming ball for too long, it doesn't stay neutral, it burns you. So this is how we all live. This is how a lot of high achieving women walk through their lives. We look steady, we look capable, and we look like we've got it handled. Well, we all also know that there's a constant awareness of that running underneath. That if you slow down, if you stop the pace, if you let something linger, the cost might be too high. So what do? We keep moving, right? Not because it's sustainable, but because stopping feels riskier than continuing. So today I want to create a moment for a pause and to ask, what am I carrying because it's truly mine? And what am I carrying because I've always carried it? So that's, it's something we all deal with, is just carrying the expectations that we've always had. Now, you don't have to prove to anybody that you can juggle, but today you might need permission to set some things down. I want to shine a light on the bold, beautiful women inside you that have been buried under the weight of expectations. And I want to give you some tools to reconnect with that. We're not going to fix anything today. It's just about creating space so that you can identify your baggage, as heavy as it may be, so you can release it and so you can step into what's next feeling a little lighter. We're going to be doing a little breath work. There'll be some time for reflection, and there'll be a couple of opportunities to write things down. So grab your journal or your app in your phone for notes or your workbook. You won't be graded on any of this. It's a no judgment zone. These are your thoughts and your thoughts alone, right? There's no scale. And you don't need to share what you write with anybody if you don't want to. All right, so to start, and we can take this down, Rosanne.
Okay. I'm just writing. I need to screenshot this image because I love it. I love
Right,
everything in it.
this needs to be the emblem for both 2025, but also a goal to look this poised for 2026. So the slides in the workshop aren't necessarily in order, and I'm happy to just keep talking without them. Okay, to start, ladies, we need to create some emotional space. Now I want you to think of something this past year that's been particularly draining. You don't have to explain it, just notice it. Take a moment to acknowledge the challenges without judgment. Now, you're going to hear that a lot. This is a no judgment zone. Obviously, we're not judging anybody else, but the biggest thing here is not judging ourselves, right? Okay. What does that challenge feel like in your body? How does it show up? Is it making your shoulders tight? Do you feel it in your jaw? My kids would love this if I'm doing this. I just find myself mewing on the screen. Does your chest feel tight? Does it feel heavy? Is your breathing constricted? Now, these are all serious things that most of us ignore. Notice your body's reaction. It's the first step towards letting go. So take a minute to jot down what comes up. This could be a feeling, a situation, a habit, even a relationship. Whatever shows up, just allow it to be named. Again, no judgment. And allow it to be seen. Okay, I'm going to give you all just another half a minute. I don't have music, but my brain's making its own up.
Oh,
Neurodivergence for the win.
I can play some music here.
I want you to ask yourself, what am I ready to release with compassion? Now, this can be unfinished projects, activities that you started that you didn't like enough to finish. We just call that exploration in our house. It's not failure. Or relationships that came to an end. This one's particularly tricky for me because I tend to flog a dead horse, resurrect it, flog it some more, and then just keep going. But there's always a sadness to relationships that come to an end because of all the investment that you've put into them. However, sometimes we really do need to just step away. Another thing you can ask is, which thoughts, patterns, or habits have served their purpose and can now be let go? That Zumba class you thought you were going to love, but didn't, but you go because you paid for them all. The gym membership, the crazy diet subscription meal plan that you have coming to your door that you can't stand half the food on. Negative, critical self-talk. Late night scrolling. Or failure to prioritize self-care. So these are all things that we can leave in this year, because when we know better, we do better. And allowing ourselves to just reframe these things as training or exploration, or, well, that was a stupid idea, not doing that again. And then moving into next year with a clean slate. The things that didn't serve you well this year don't have to form your habits or your thoughts or your patterns for the next. Writing these things down actually gives us a physical nudge to leave them on the page and leave them in this year. Sometimes I feel like it does us so much service to get the things out of our head and onto a piece of paper. It's such a simple concept, but honestly, it works so well. Okay, how are we all doing? Good. So to help our bodies release the stress that we've stored with each added responsibility, with every unspoken boundary, I have to remind myself they can't be crossed if I haven't told anybody. That's on me. I'm going to share a simple breathing pattern called box breathing. Now, this works by giving your nervous system something steady to follow, something to help signal safety and calm in the body. It'll help you to recognize the way your body responds to the baggage you've been carrying and to set it down. I'm going to guide the timing. Just follow along in a way that feels natural for you. But we're going to start by sitting up straight, taking a deep breath in, and then letting it all out. Okay, if we're ready, inhale through your nose for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4. And then hold again for 4. Now don't worry, you're not alone if it feels weird or foreign, but stick with me. I promise it gets a little easier as you do it more. So we're going to do it again together. Recognize if anything pops into your head. It's okay. It's okay to not be a clean, empty vessel. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's a new skill, remember? Okay. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Is everyone doing okay? Remember, you're not being graded. It doesn't have to be perfect. And your mind needs to practice this, and it needs to practice staying on task. So we're going to do one more round. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I missed a hold in there. Did anyone catch it? All right, we're going to go again. One more round.
Do over.
Do over. Absolutely do over. Everything with grace though, right? One more last round. So I'm going to shake off my wiggles. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Now everybody take a big deep breath. So when you're ready, let your breath return to its natural rhythm. And for many of us, that's here, right? We don't breathe regularly and naturally, especially when we're trying to learn something new. The pre-performance anxiety of learning a skill that we feel that we should be able to do, like breathing, it's pretty high for most of us. We're like, I should be able to do this. Anyway, I want you to take a moment just to notice what feels different in your body after the exercise, even if it's subtle. This exercise can help reset your nervous system as it starts to get triggered, and that's important. The timing of this is important. Remember the first signs of your body getting stressed? If you feel your shoulders getting tight or your jaw tensing, practice some box breathing to unwind your anxiety or avoid your body storing the stress of another negative story. Now, like I said, the timing of this is important. With enough practice, you should be able to see I'm starting to get triggered. My body is starting to react. It's starting to become uncomfortable, even though you've probably carried that discomfort for many, many years without ever letting into it. As you start to feel these things, your shoulders start to rise. Drop into that breathing and stop it before it gets loud, before it starts to take over, before you spent 3 days with your shoulders up here and it hurts too much to bring them back down again. Okay, now that we've done that, we really want to honor the things that carried you through this year. We've released some dead weight, and now we're going to acknowledge and celebrate. Even in the difficult moments, you were somehow supported, maybe by the people around you, by familiar practices, by small victories, or even a personal strength you didn't always recognize. Now, I'm sure every woman in this group has somebody that will quite happily point out those strengths to them when they're feeling low. Celebrate those people and hold them close. Ask yourself, who or what helped me stay grounded this year? Grab your pen. So you're looking at what or who helped me stay grounded through the year. Now you can write down a name or a situation just to remind you that you have people around you who really want to lift you up. Sometimes we forget. I think we get so mired in what we're doing that we forget those daily check-in calls or those Instagram reels that our friends send us, or the big things like somebody just offering to help you out of the blue when sometimes you can feel that you're not worthy of that, but you really should accept it. So I want you to take a look at the strengths and the lessons or the insights that you want to carry forward. I promise it's just water.
Okay, I'm going to put the music on for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not an expert DJ on Zoom yet, guys. I don't know how to do the fade.
Yeah, that was my problem in my practices.
3 things to carry forward. Got it.
Which things are you going to carry forward? Strengths, lessons, or insights? And if you can't think of 3, just think of one really big, impactful one. So if you could recreate the times that you were crushing it, what emotional tools would you want to keep carrying with you? And this can be confidence. I mean, sometimes we really need that confidence to walk into a new situation. It could be empathy, right? These are times when you know you really showed up for the people around you and that made you proud. Sometimes it's just as much acting on the fly and using the inherent skills, the inherent magic that we all carry within us, and really letting that shine. But acknowledging that you have those things and those are your gifts. And then I've got one more thing for you to think about. So I want you to try and recognize and remember the times of resilience and courage that got you here. The days when you didn't want to get out of bed. The days when everything around you was falling apart, but you still showed up. Or the days when everything was just so heavy that you had to put yourself at the bottom of the pile and it was hard to remember to dig yourself out again. So it's time to really celebrate those superpowers, be intentional about naming them so that we can nourish those skills moving forward. This exercise is going to be the bridge from the things of 2025 going into 2026. It's going to be your reminder to look at the things that you did well, that really carried you forward, and then the other people and places and tools that supported you. If you like, we're going to grab our tool bag and we're going to chuck out the stuff that didn't work, the hammer with the broken head, the tweezers that don't pull that rogue chin hair very well in the mirror, all of those things that you just, you don't know why they're still in your toolbox. You've had them for years. And we're going to look at our set of select top tier tools. And those are the things we're going to sharpen. And those are the things we're going to nourish going through for the next year. teaser there. So I don't know if you feel like me, but the weight of everything this year has been really heavy, and it's felt hard at times to recognize both my accomplishments and the accomplishments around me. Sometimes I need a swift kick up the arse and a good reminder that I'm both highly capable and worthy of the grace that I show freely to others. But, and I'm sure you can all relate to this, scheduling time for rest and renewal is hard for many of us. We feel like we aren't being productive unless we're moving at 100 miles an hour. I want you to remember, though, that giving 100% doesn't look like the same every day. It certainly doesn't look the same for every person. Your best is shaped by your energy, by your season, and what's happening around you. And all of that matters. Holding yourself to a higher standard than everyone around you, hi, I'm guilty of this, it really comes at a cost. It often denies you the rest that you need to actually be your best self. And we need to think of rest as an essential tool in our toolbox rather than a luxury item. So you can drop that slide in, Rosanne. This is my last little bit.
All right.
I love this. I feel like I've got my own executive assistant. It's glorious. Do you have a word that brings back memories of a more vibrant, joyful, confident self? She's still in there, I promise. Sometimes it just takes peeling back the layers of expectation, obligation, performance, and duty, and I know we've all got those, to remember her. Well, I'm going to share my reminder. Here it is. For me, that one word is badass. It reminds me that the 900 and something skydives, the years of motorcycle riding, the helmet on, adrenaline seeking version of me still exists. And those experiences haven't expired. I might not be able to get into my jumpsuit or my leathers anymore, but they created this version of me. That word on the mirror helps me call on the level of confidence that I had back then in moments of doubt or hesitation to remember exactly who I am. So if you're looking, I'm the skydiver in the right of the picture with the white helmet and the generous amount of swagger. And that glorious picture was taken over coastal Carolinas in North Carolina with the ocean below us, which, chef's kiss, not for everybody, but it made me who I am today. So in closing, we're going to have a few grounding breaths to reinforce the practice that we've shared today. Please sit comfortably. Get yourself sitting up straight. Inhale fully and let your body fill with positive energy. Exhale and release anything that's still lingering. Shake out your shoulders, notice the tension, and let go of the things that you no longer need to carry. As you step into the next year, you can ask yourself, what is one simple intention I want to hold as I move forward? A word, a feeling, a small action, whatever feels right for you, and this may change. Take one last deep breath in. As you exhale, settle into the lighter, renewed energy we've created for you today. Here's a short affirmation that you can share and say each line in your head or out loud with your exhale. I honor my breath. I honor my year. I release what no longer serves me. I step forward with clarity and ease. Thank you for taking the time today, ladies, to honor your journey and give yourself the gift of presence. And it really is a gift, but we're all worthy and deserving of it. I hope this helps you move forward with grace.
Thank you, Portia. Everyone, we're going to do spirit hands since it's always hard to see on here. Thank you so much for your sharing. And I want to let everyone know that I'm going to just stay right here on Portia's amazing bathroom picture with badass on it. And if you don't know, you can use an expo marker and write on your mirrors and change it up. Like on my downstairs guest bathroom, I've been putting different quotes in the downstairs guest bathroom lately. And everyone really likes that, who's been over visiting the house. And then I have one too on mine. And by Wednesday, I guarantee you are all going to leave your Operation U workshop with your word for the year or a good sense of what that word is going to be. And today is a really great, planting the seed for that. So thank you. Thank you, Portia. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask everyone, and this is in the workbook as well, the group share, the permission to pause. What are you ready to set down, even just for now? What feels lighter after naming it out loud? Or what do you want to just leave here? Leave today. Like it could be that note that you ripped up, right? What is it that you want to leave today?